I got two more episodes in May.
I'm literally going to go to bed.
Me and Nom gonna get the after hours episode.
Actually, cannot wait for you to describe your in-laws because this is gonna be great.
My in-laws?
Yeah,
My in-laws are great.
No. Don't lie to the people.
I'm not lying. My in-laws are great. His mom is a super cool lady. She's a nurse. She was a prison nurse for like 25 years, 30 years, something like that.
Long time. Institutionalized.
And so she's like very blunt, very like straightforward.
To the point.
Yeah, she's very to the point. She does, like, when I first met her, I remember being scared of her because she like gives kind of like a cold, very like distant like kind of vibe. But as I've gotten to know her, I think that she's actually a very like vulnerable woman, and like she just puts on that facade to like
if I could
protect
describe
herself.
if I could describe it to strangers, I'd say, you know how ice is really cold. The further you are away from it, but you get closer and closer, it feels warmer. That is what I would say. At least my mother's side of the family would be, or my mother herself, and not even in a disrespectful way, but like she is a very loving woman. Boy, if she don't know you, you would think you were 20 miles away from her. You'd be standing right next to her. Yeah. But that's the because of the occupation that she had. That's kind of how she had to be. She legitimately learned from the inmates kind of how to conduct herself,
right?
So that she wouldn't, or anyone on the staff wouldn't get used around her or herself. So she's definitely
that makes sense though.
She's definitely. It makes sense. Gosh, it's crazy to me because it's like, bro, like, you don't gotta be like that to everybody. You know what I'm saying? But that's just who she is, though. Like you'll feel it. I tell everybody that gets close, you'll feel it. You'll feel the wall. There's a wall. You'll feel it every time.
I think that because you're her child, you don't see certain things.
I definitely don't.
Or you don't. It's hard for you to acknowledge certain things. But the conversations that I've had with your mother, I understand where she's coming from and like why she is the way she is.
That's fair enough. I probably take for granted a lot of things, and
different generation.
It's a completely different generation.
Yeah, different generation.
They went through their own struggles, their own like trials and tribulations. Like
she not to cut you off. She herself in a what's that called? Anthology. Excuse me if please correct me if I'm wrong. But when a bunch of, not a bunch, but like let's say 7 people put their stories inside of a book. Is that called an anthology? Something like that.
I don't know.
Somebody correct us in the comments. Correct me in the comments.
I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. I have no idea what you're talking about.
But with that being said, her a book was I guess not written, but herself and a few other women of her church put together some of their I guess highlights of their life story. Collection of works. So herself and a few other women from her church put together a book, and they put it out there, and then it was kind of funny. My mother was pitching this book, whatever, and we got one from her, and then I read it, and then I was just like, holy smokes, like I had no clue that you went through something like this.
You never know what your parents go through, dude.
Exactly. Like, you just and I read it, and
stuff that you don't want your kids to know.
That alone made me kind of like think of my mother in a different way and treat her not necessarily different, but give her grace.
Yeah.
What I was talking about in the last episode, giving grace and patience, giving her grace on some of the things that I may have felt like I was slighted on when I was a kid, because looking at her situation through her eyes and having the maturity to sit there and be like, perceive it through what she was describing in her segment of the book, I was like, man, like honestly, can't be too upset with her anymore. Like I get where she's coming from, and I understand like from where she was standing, this is what she had to deal with, and this is what she had to do, and this is who she is because she lived through these things.
That's right.
So I was like, all right, it is what it is. Now I say all that to say, I'm gonna still give her a little bit of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still a kid. I'm still give a little, a little shit to her, or bust her balls a little bit. But no, I really do. Through Rita, I have learned to understand my mother just a little bit more. Which I guess to be honest, that might sound a little sad, but every family is different. We all have, I'm sure, things that we take granted for different people, and it takes a third party perspective to actually be able to start to understand and perceive what's going on around you just a little bit different.
So how do you feel about your in-laws though?
Listen,
what do you got to say to the listeners, to the people tuning in right now? Like, hey, in-laws are plus, they're negative.
In-laws are definitely
what they are.
In-laws are definitely a plus, and I say that because they bring a different type of energy. They bring a different perspective. They bring a different love that you may or may not have felt before. For me, I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot of love.
You're either the good guy or you're the bad guy, right?
Yeah, that's a fact. Good or
the
bad.
Good girl or the bad girl.
Good,
they're gonna like you or they're gonna hate you.
From my perspective of the situation, I love my in-law. I love my mother-in-law. I even love my father-in-law. Not because I have to, because I choose to. He's an individual that I honestly would love to get to know better and be in a better place with. Just as a respect thing for
right,
man to man, father-in-law, son-in-law, just a respect thing. It's just respect when it comes to that for me. But man,
makes sense.
It's a lot of love. I say that in a good way, but holy smokes, bro! Like sometimes you gotta have some tough in there too. There's a whole lot of love in there, man. I'm like, yo, y'all gotta like just talk to me. So
we come from
pet
a
peeve.
matriarchal family. What can we say?
Audience, somebody tell me if they're dealing with this with their mother-in-law or even their mother, father, whomever. Yeah. My mother-in-law does this thing where if she wants something from me, she starts talking to me very low and she wants to hit me. Can you hear that? Can you hear that? I'm standing right next to her. Not only does she have an accent,
oh my God.
but I'm trying my hardest to understand what she's trying to tell me. Broken English sometimes. She knows what she's saying. I'm not saying that she knows what she's doing, but at the same token, it's just like sometimes what she's trying to get across to me might not be perceived the way she said it, right?
Oh my
I'm
God.
like, yo, I'm looking at you eye to eye. I'm almost nose to nose with you. I don't know what's going on right now. Can you just tell me? Can you actually at this point? I want you to be mad at me and scream at me and tell me what you need from me, so I can. Yes, ma'am, and go do it. Cause like that whole like that I don't like it. I don't like it. I do not like it. I'd rather her be mad at me and scream at me, even in Spanish. And I might not even understand. But when you're getting screamed at to do something, everybody figures it out. Yes, si, senor, and you're just touching things. You're just doing it. I'd rather do that. Exactly.
My mom would never scream at you.
But I'm swear to God.
How dare you? How dare you talk about my aunt like that? How dare you?
And it's true though. Thing.
She does do that.
It's the only thing. It's the only fault that I can find in her heart.
And she gets her hands together.
No,
and she starts.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
But
hey! As a Catholic man, as a simple Catholic man, bro, let's stop it.
To her defense, I have voiced this. She's
working on it.
She is working on it, and I even say it's actually a shock to me sometimes. She'll look me dead in my face and say, "I need you to take out the water, or I need you to take the trash out," and I'm like, "Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I got you. It will be done. Do you want it done now or later?" Like, when do you want it done? And she'll be like, later, mijo, later. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'll still try to figure out when to get it done sooner than her expectation. With that being said, though, sometimes she's still stuck in her ways, and I'll just stare at her, honestly. I think that's my new way of dealing with it. I'll just stare at her because
if I catch her doing it, I'm like, Mom, you gotta talk to him
Yeah,
loud.
please.
Clearly.
Please.
Talk to him like a normal person.
No, but
We know you work with kids all the time,
I
all day.
swear,
Like,
she does that because she gets embarrassed to ask him
Oh,
for
that's what it
favors.
is.
That's what it
okay.
is.
So she's like, I don't know how to ask
Like,
you, but can you please?
Like how the kids do it nowadays.
You're 15, 20
What
years
is
my
this?
senior.
Like embarrassed. Like that's what the kids.
You are a.
Is that what that is?
To me,
Yeah, this is
yeah,
like
it
the
is.
embarrassed thing for
Yeah,
the
the
kids.
whole like little this little thing right here.
You're telling me kids are going up to other kids going, hey.
Not all the
No,
time.
not like that. Not like that.
No,
But
it's
they're
not.
like, oh, embarrassed. Like, oh my god. I'm so
Yeah.
embarrassed.
You
It's
mean
a
maybe
thing.
like they don't like do this no more
it's
when
their
they're like
fingers like
um,
this.
I always say it looks like
Or it
two
could be even
peepees touching
hands,
each other.
but like
yeah, don't go up to people and do this.
No.
Let's not.
But no, yeah, man. If I had to complain about anything with my in-law,
Unless you're into that, whatever you're into.
that is
Keep
it.
yourself.
Also, my other-in-law, my father-in-law, I love the man just off of choosing to love him every day. I love him. But listen, man. Hey, side quest. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a side quest for me. Like I said last episode, I don't like side quests, but I'm getting used to it.
What do you mean my dad's a side quest? That makes no
MP3
fucking
player?
sense.
No.
Oh.
That like he be asking for side quests.
Oh yeah, he be asking for side quests.
MP3 player.
I mean,
With 500 songs, because he needs at least 17 trillion hours of music, so he doesn't have to ask for it again.
listen,
I'm not stupid. You know what I mean? Like we need to get him something that's like a terabyte full or something. So he's, anyway,
my dad doesn't even know how to work
it doesn't matter.
electronics.
He
But
can-
But he's asking
But he's
you
asking
for
for
one,
it.
right? That's
He
why.
needs a thing that literally plays. It says
Get him a
play
record player.
and pause.
Get him a record
And
no,
it
player.
I know
has-
for real. That's like a
yeah.
portable. I need a CD player. Get this man a CD,
CD
player.
player.
I'll send him one
CD.
to Colombia.
Better yet, get him that cassette player.
That cassette, that Walkman.
The
Walkman,
Walkman,
the
yes.
That
Hey.
tells you our age right there. Okay? Those of you that know or don't know.
Hey, if
Walkman.
you know, you know. Hey, man, the Walkman was elite.
Let us know in the comments.
It's elite. No, you know what's funny? Actually, thinking about that, you haven't spoken about your father-in-law.
I think my father-in-law is a great person, and I think that you give your father a lot of shit.
Have to. Hey, have to.
I think that
I'm
my
the Cub trying to take the
father-in-law's-
lion spot. You gotta give him shit. Can we curse?
Can we-
Can we curse?
I think that everyone thinks that my father-in-law is a loose cannon, and he probably was in his youth. There's a 95% chance there's a dead body somewhere.
Oh man!
If you're watching this, I didn't script
I
any of this. I have no idea. I don't know anything about that.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but he like.
Tijuana.
Oh God.
No, but he's alluded to being like he what he claims to be a bad person, and I think that it's just he only alludes to that because he was rejected his whole life for being different, for being raised in a small town where
Johnson
he was already
County.
persecuted
Yeah.
for being black,
Yeah.
and then on top of that he was black, was into martial arts, that
And
was
books.
into books,
Yeah.
that was into things that like normal
Didn't
teenagers
fit
aren't really
with
like
the norm.
Yeah. It's like
So
to give him grace during that time, like you said, Clan County, Johnson County, Selma Smithfield. If you know, you know. I'm not gonna speak on it. Not gonna give them any more pressing they need. But with that being said, he grew up during a very rough time, and he chose to escape through like she said, books. And then when martial arts came about, he was very into that, and that's where he put all of his passion and everything.
Nice.
With that being said, like she said, from our perspective, looking into what we've been told from various family members, he may or may not have been like necessarily accepted, like she said, and he took. Funny enough, she's the one who presented this information to me, but not being accepted by not just society but family itself, and him looking for acceptance
Outside the family.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody carries their own issues, and that's what I feel like having now kind of seen a little bit. I feel like that's his underlying like thing. Everybody has a thing. Everybody has a tick. Everybody has a quirk, whatever. I think that's his underlying quirk. That he's not necessarily looking for acceptance, but he would love to feel
I was just gonna
accepted.
say, he's not looking for acceptance. He's never felt true acceptance. So he is like, he doesn't know what it feels like.
Right.
And so he's always like second guess himself, look down on himself, like let himself be called like the loose cannon, because that's what he's always seen himself as. And that's why I think that he's a lot chill now.
He's chill as
so
fuck.
much
So chill.
He's chill as fuck.
He's chill. He's chill. You like him. He's good.
More
Good
dangerous.
people.
It's a dangerous old man.
Dangerous old man.
Dangerous old man. What about you guys though? In-laws, love them, hate them, in between. What you got?
Oh God. No, I'm joking.
Great way to start it.
So with my mother-in-law,
Careful.
it definitely started off
Oh, it was rough.
rough.
It started off.
I mean, when we got married, she didn't go to our wedding, and she didn't talk to Dan for a couple months.
Yeah, she stopped talking to me for a while.
Not to dig into it, is this a personality issue, or is this a Catholic issue?
No, I think she just.
I think both.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Okay.
I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
And she also didn't agree with Dan getting married right out of high school.
Okay. Fair enough. As a mother, protective of her son.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
She had her own beliefs and thoughts, and
fair enough.
I think that's probably how we would feel, right?
Oh, if some girl was calling the house and trying to take D.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how we. I would feel that way. So
fair enough.
I'm sure you would. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So I understand her from that. Yeah. So I understand. And he is the youngest one.
Right.
So
I didn't know that.
Yes,
my mom's youngest.
I thought. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Yeah. So now to me that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, our relationship has really grown a lot, and
let me put a pause there and let me insert this little side
context. Okay.
Yeah, context.
So I was the only one out of all her kids to graduate high school, so she saw me on that right path. And then right after high school, are you kidding me? Type
yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So
I got you. Understood. From her perspective, maybe a little bit of disappointment, maybe whatever else going on. Okay, go ahead.
She fucking hated her.
Yeah, we did not talk.
Okay.
Like I said, when we got married, she stopped talking to Dan for a while, and there was really no real relationship at the beginning of our marriage with her.
I would like to. Not to give any whatever, but I would like to say that was like a probationary phase.
Yeah, I almost felt like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I will say that our relationship now it is really good.
Well, that's the thing, because now she knows it's real and it's genuine, right? And she's like, okay, you do love my son.
Yeah.
Thing.
I can agree with that.
Not to interject too much into your thing, I think that was almost respectful. To stay out of the situation instead of inserting toxicity into it.
And honestly, she does.
See that?
I can honestly say that's one thing that I love about my mother-in-law. And I'll say it and then I'll explain why.
She knows her place.
Right. So she may have an opinion about certain things, but she won't give unsolicited opinions.
But
she's not gonna throw her 2 cents in just to fucking throw her 2 cents in.
Snapping? Is it? No,
Whoa,
right.
No, please no snap.
And we have done
I
as
hate
with
the
me.
snaps.
We have gotten very close to where there's been instances where I'll call her to whatever, some random call to ask for fucking rice or something.
Daughter-in-law, mother-in-law
and
thing,
we'll be on the phone for
30-40 minutes.
It's
like a I got you relationship
talking.
that they have.
Yeah. And even now, she'll come to the house and
Even if I'm not here.
And like I'll sit down.
Don't come to visit your son, but you come to visit.
Yeah, and like I'll sit down with her and like we'll have a conversation, and we've had some like Rita said, like some really vulnerable conversations that you've had with your mother-in-law. Like I've had those too, and there's like things that she's told me like that she said like about growing up and the struggles and everything that I'm like, damn.
How can you like not respect it?
Like,
right.
God, like, because we've all gone through shit, but like I can say that like our elders had it way worse than we did.
Hey man, what a time to be alive in between 30s and the 60s, right?
Exactly. So it's like some of the shit, and it's like, damn, like, and she's just like I've done growing, and just like I said that we've grown as individuals. She has grown as a person a lot. I mean, and you've been here for the growth.
Literally.
So she has grown as a person, and she used
to be very cold towards
everyone.
Everybody.
What you say about my mama?
She used to be very cold. And that.
But
again,
not in a mean way,
but she was not affectionate.
That's the way we were raised.
Yeah.
That's the way I was. I mean, how long have we? How long have we been together? And even like right at the beginning, and like now it's to where it's like, okay, now you're starting to see my feelings. Now we're starting to see that this guy actually has different emotions. Like,
yeah, because
I was emotionless. That's the way we were raised. Like when
not to say that he didn't feel the emotions, but he didn't express them.
Yeah, it is. No,
I'm with you. In a Hispanic home, being raised in a Chicano home, being born in California, like all that shit's around us. I mean, we moved here when I was still young and whatnot, but it's like you gotta put on a certain face.
You gotta have. You go outside of your.
You
door.
Gotta be tough.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they're
you hop out that last stoop.
Right, and also like it influences the way that she was brought up and the stuff that she went through. Also made her the way she was as a mother. She was doing the best she could do with what she had. And that's what she did.
5 kids, single mother. Hey, mama, God bless.
She did what she could do best. Like that was the best she could do. And I think that she now, they say hindsight's 20/20. Like she has seen some of the things that in her mind now were wrong, and she wants to change that, and she knows that she wishes she could like do them over, or she could have done them differently, because her and I have had these conversations, and she has.
I will say, sorry to interrupt, but with Nam's mom, we've also had that conversation where it's like, I wish I could have been like gentler, but there was just no time.
There was
no. I had to be a single mother working to provide for my children. And that was it.
Exactly. There was no, and that's sort of the same thing. And so like, but now like she's very lovey-dovey with my kids, and she has
damn,
tried.
Mama, you didn't hug me that much.
Listen. I'd be so mad, bro. I'd be so mad. But it's nothing. It's nothing like. It's not like I'm hurt as an adult. It's kind of like the little kid in me is like, bro,
right.
Because she tells me all the time, I need to treat my mother like she needs to be treated right now, not as I see her from who she was. Because I still, truthfully, love me, mom. I still see my mother as Stephanie Madden. Now, a lot of people won't understand that. But Stephanie Madden was
cold nurse, the single mother.
She's single mother, making it happen. Paid once a month because she worked for the state, making every penny stretch because she had to. 2 sons, 3 adopted children. Doesn't matter. They're still my brothers and sisters. 2 sisters, both they're twins. Little brother. My oldest brother's 10 years older than me, so he was out the house before things got too crazy. Just me and the twins and my little brother. Single mom, 4 kids, and just making it happen. But she was, like I said before, as much as she worked for the prison, she worked in the prison. She was institutionalized just as much as the inmates themselves. Not to, like I said, I'm not trying to take it away from you, but understandably, same thing.
Yeah.
Same type of situation.
It may not be the same exact thing, but yeah.
Yeah.
And like I said, that's what I'm saying. So and there is growth.
Yeah.
And there's things that when they like think about, like, I wish, knowing what I know now, I wish I could have done that differently. I wish I would have spoke kinder or softer, giving a gentler touch. And those are all things. And I know that because of those things.
Where we grew up, man. Where we grew up, how we grew up. There's a lot of gangs around where we grew up. It's always there, you know. The brothers or the sisters, whatever, alcoholics or drug addicts. It's a lot of that shit plays into
the environment,
the environment, right? That you're, So I mean, but overall, now and the person she is now, we do have a good relationship. I feel like. I mean, she picks up my kids at school on Fridays, so she helps with that.
Super dope.
And she does have a way better relationship with the kids now than she did at the beginning.
Yeah.
I know. I see her over here.
She
so
comes
much
often.
More than
I
used to.
Yeah, and she comes often. Like, she knows that, like, if she calls Dan and he doesn't answer, like, she'll call me.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Anna, like, Dan isn't answering.
So it's not just me. Same thing. If somebody calls her, she knows that she will answer. If not, she'll at least text them back.
Family is very much like.
So, like, I know. Now, my father-in-law is. I'm not saying he's a bad person. We just don't have that type of relationship. Yeah. I understand that though, because he and Dan don't have that type of relationship either.
Got you.
So it's kind of more like touch and go. He's never been rude to me though.
Right. Civil.
Yeah, it's very civil. Yeah, and it's like he's come over and he's talked to the kids, and like we've gone to birthdays and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's nothing. I would not say. Like, if it came and they were like
Andrea's birthday,
no graduation
party.
I was there.
If it's like you have to pick your father-in-law or your mother-in-law. Oh,
mother-in-law.
Sorry, pops. I'm not going with my mother.
Fair enough.
Like, that's just, and nothing against him. It's just not like our relationship isn't that, but kind of hard to expect that when. The relationship with his son isn't like that. Yeah.
You haven't built it.
So
for you.
What about you, babe?
Mother-in-law,
father-in-law.
In-laws are in-laws, right? In-laws
cop out.
Gonna be,
literally.
No, it's either you really love them or you're just like you know.
Strangle you.
Excuse me. For the most part, my mother-in-law love her to death. She's like a second mother to me. I've told her this. I don't know if she's ever
received it,
felt it that way, or understood the way I'm saying it to her, or if she's just like, he's just saying that
just to say it.
But no, I truly do feel like she's a second mother. She's always been there for us. She's helped us out whenever we needed the help. Definitely always been there. So I can't take that away from her, right? She's there for the kids. She really helps us out with the kids a lot. She does all that. She's a good influence for the kids. Besides that though, obviously there's stuff that annoy me. There's stuff that irk me. There's stuff that she does that I'm just like, just don't. Just don't. And
like, why?
Or like,
unnecessary.
You know how it is when you have kids, and then your parents want to act like they're
the parents.
They're the parents, and I'm like, no, they're our kids. Are like, no. Like I said, mother-in-law, love her to death. Of course, I got complaints. There's some stuff that just like the way I was raised and the type of person I am is I like to joke around a lot.
Right.
I like to mess with people.
Yeah.
Like the other day, I was telling her a joke about.
Oh shit!
About
she laughed already. That's funny. Go ahead.
I was telling her a joke about like the parking job that she had done.
Oh,
because it was a terrible parking job.
I love her so much. I offer now to park for her. I'm like, look, you can't.
Terrible
do that.
parking job.
You can't do that.
And I mentioned it. And she was
When
like,
we went camping,
huh?
She did a terrible parking.
And it was just like way over her head.
And it wasn't like a joke. It was like a comment that's like a joke,
okay,
like
jokingly.
Yeah.
Almost
and she was like,
sarcastically.
and she was like,
hey, nice parking job, bro. Like, guess it's a good thing we don't have to pay for valet parking around here, like type thing. And it was just way over. And she was just like, what? Like, what do you? And I was like, nothing.
Yeah, he was like, nothing. It was a joke. But she thought it was like, I guess.
She was being literal.
Yeah,
she felt slighted.
She did. And even like
complain about my
3 hours later, she was on her way out. And she went back in and she was like, hey, Dan, so like earlier when you were talking about the parking, so do you want me to not park in your spot?
I was
like, Mom, it was a joke. Like, he was trying to be funny.
When I told her, I was like, oh, I could care less where you park. I don't know. I don't care where you park. You can park where you want to park.
I might need more Christ in my life. I don't know how it goes. My mother, honestly, she's a bona fide Christian too. Not to get too far off the topic, take away from Dan again. Mother's a bona
see how they do me?
Yeah.
See how they do me?
My mother's a bona fide Christian too. Minister in these streets. She's certified in the whole nine. Hey, I love it. I'm retired. 15 years in, I'm retired now. I've been retired a couple years. It's a good time, but not for a long time. I'm with it. But simple Christian man, a Catholic man.
Simple Catholic man.
Catholic man. Excuse me.
Get it right. Get it right.
Gotta get you a shirt. I gotta read it.
Got it. But I mean, the father-in-law, never met him.
Okay.
It's the same thing with Anna. Like our relationship, my relationship with my dad is a little, right. And then her relationship with her dad was a little,
yeah.
Can I ask something slightly intrusive to you though?
Yes.
I'm a man of faith. What do you think your relationship would be like if that individual would I won't even say step up, but just be present. How would
with
you
my
treat
father-in-law?
Yeah, how would you treat that individual?
Oh, that'd be great. Oh, I would love it.
I mean, just from the conversations that they've had,
we've spoken before. And
Yeah.
We've had a good
I didn't know.
conversation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, he knows that I'm like in it for the long haul,
Yeah.
and he sees that we obviously have 4 kids, and he's like, "This guy's not going nowhere."
Yeah.
In the state of North Carolina, if you decided to leave her, it'd be very costly for you.
So I think he sees that and he respects it.
Okay.
To be honest. And I think he's like, hey, if you can provide for my daughter, but I mean, yeah, father-in-law, I got as good as a relationship that I could have.
Right.
Yeah.
with what you have, right?
I got no problem. I hope to meet him one day, and I hope to build on a relationship. And so, do you guys believe in like roles?
What do you mean roles? Specify.
Are you more so like?
I feel like
the guy.
Let's specify first. I want to hear what he has to say.
Let me make it as simple as could be, right? Excuse me. I know I'm about to offend everybody and everybody's
Simple
gonna
Catholic
hit it
man.
on the house.
Simple Catholic man. That's why I want him to simple. Go ahead.
Who takes out the trash?
Me.
Okay.
So like,
You.
I was gonna say like, what do you guys think? Like, because I want to make sure that like they're not like
leading questions.
Yeah, they're not leading questions.
Fair enough.
So so what do you guys think on roles? Like, what is your take on?
Do you
believe there's roles?
Do you think there's a husband role? Do you think there's
a wife role? Or do you think it's like?
Me to go first,
or how does it go?
Okay. This is my honest to God and very, very candid and very vulnerable opinion. I feel like, right, in this situation where I've already spoken on not having necessarily a man in the house to see things reinforced every single day, and to have to learn from everyone else around me what it is, quote unquote, to be a man. But respectfully to my father, he did set foundations for me when I lived with him. But honestly and respectfully, it wasn't with my mother, so things are different. With that being said, as I am now, having seen all these things and trying to learn from everyone as I go, it's all about energy and it's an exchange. There are things that men are naturally better at doing, and there are things that women are naturally better at doing. With that being said,
you gonna cause a storm on the internet with that one. You gonna cause a storm on the internet with that one.
If you have an opinion, like everything else, everyone has an a-hole too. Put it in the comments.
Oh, so we can't curse?
You know, we've been doing it the whole time. Can we curse? Can we?
Can we curse?
I don't
All
know.
of a sudden, halfway through
I
the
know.
a-hole.
A-hole.
Excuse me.
I tried to be civil for 2.5 seconds.
Bug
2.5. Well, with that being said, like, I'm learning, and to this day I'm learning, and I'm grateful for the experience of having women in my family that depend on me to do certain things.
So you believe in roles?
I believe in roles.
Okay, and
Straight up.
what are the roles in your relationship as far as like?
Well, Rita, do you believe in roles?
Do you believe in roles?
I think that there are things that are sometimes better suited for, like, I think that they're not necessarily gender roles. I think that there are
No, not gender roles, but just like
roles specific to like one partner.
She's community friendly, so she had
I
to
was
say
gonna.
that.
I literally was gonna say that.
She needed to clarify that.
She's trying to win.
We love you guys. We love you. She's community friendly.
We love you
I'm
as
not-
you
I'm not
are,
gonna put
whatever
her
you
business
are.
out there.
I'm
She's community friendly. That's what I'm gonna say. Respectfully. Go
Like
ahead.
I'm saying, I don't think there's gender roles. I think there are roles that are like better suited for like one partner, and like the other partner complements that person by doing the opposite of those roles. So
I mean, I think that's a good way to put it. I mean, it's essentially that. It's essentially one person, whether it's the husband or the wife, will take the role of do certain things, and the other person takes a role to do some other
For
things.
example, when Dan had to take care of Cesar, you started to understand and learn that the role of a mother and wife was.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
It ain't easy.
It
I
ain't
said, let me
easy.
get back to work.
You
Please.
said the 9 to 5 was much easier than this, bro.
And the reason, and like, I mean, just to clarify,
Yeah.
so like, the reason he took over was because, like, I had our last one, our son, and I got my tubes tied, so I had surgery.
Okay.
While I was at the hospital. I was
enough.
only at the because we had 3 younger ones here. I didn't want to stay the 72 hours. I stayed for 20.
For the record, I offered as well. I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, that asshole
Piece of shit."
Yeah, that guy's a real piece of,
He's a piece of work, guys.
I offered. She said no. She said, "I'm already here."
And my insurance was gonna cover it. His insurance was gonna cover partial.
Say less. Yeah.
So
It was gonna be partial. We were gonna have to pay out of pocket. It was something that he was gonna have to go do in. To me, it was pointless. I was already in the hospital.
Both of us out. That makes sense.
Yeah, I was already in the hospital. My insurance said they were gonna cover the whole thing. I don't have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
It was just the easiest way to do it.
Okay.
In my mind, you're already there.
Kill 2 birds with one stone.
Exactly. Now, that's why
you made the decision.
we did it that way. Now, I will say I only stayed at the hospital for 24 hours. I went into the hospital on like let's say like
real one, bro.
On Friday. Let's say Friday morning.
That's crazy.
I went into labor Friday morning. I was at the hospital by noon.
This is Cesar.
This is Cesar. I was at the hospital by noon. He was
actually,
born by 5 o'clock.
I was supposed to see you that day.
Yeah, he was born at 5 o'clock.
Like, sorry, I can't come over.
That little excuse.
It's fake. He was born at 5 o'clock that night. That Friday.
Yeah.
I had I was gonna get my tubes tied that day, but I had some like heavy bleeding. What? TMI. Sorry.
No. You had a kid, and then you were like,
tubes
tied. Next day, I'm done. That's it.
That same day, I was gonna have him done, but they were gonna.
That's crazy.
They were going to. I was having some light bleeding, so they decided to wait until the next day.
Wow.
So I went in the next morning and had my tubes tied. I came home that night. So I was not at the hospital for 24 hours after the surgery. I was at the hospital for 12 hours after the surgery.
You was trying to have like 2 different surgeries.
So I wanted to get home really quickly because we had younger ones. So that's why I could not lift or move or anything because of the stitches.
She literally could not.
So that's why Dan stepped up and was doing everything because I was bedridden for a week.
Yeah, respect. Seriously, like that's crazy.
And then even after that, so like in Hispanic culture is it's called cuarentena, which is basically, which I didn't do it to the T, but it's basically 40 days of like
you just stay at home.
Certain rules you have to follow to.
Excuse me.
Go through like postpartum.
What is this called again?
It's quarantena, so it's 40 days. Quarantine.
Oh, this is a Latin thing.
Yeah. So
no, but every culture has their
some
own
sort of it. Yeah.
Oh.
Except Americans.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I was like, yo, well, I ain't never heard no. I had never heard this before.
Americans want you to work the next day after you gave birth.
Yeah. I didn't say it.
They said, push out that baby, now get back to the office.
Great excuse to be late 2 hours. Anyways, you have 40 things in your inbox. We need this by like 1 o'clock today. It's 12.
But yeah,
so midday.
But that's why Dan like stepped up and helped.
Hell yeah. See, these are the things that I wouldn't have known unless I had these conversations. I had no clue there was a cultural 40-day rest period. No clue.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah. You would have sprung that on
me. You're supposed to like bind your stomach, and you aren't supposed to walk without shoes. You're supposed to eat certain things. You're not supposed to do certain things.
That's why you said
you can't go out. It's bad for you to go out.
Because you can't go out. You're supposed to be like, I didn't do all that. I really took care of myself for 2 weeks.
This sounds like more of like.
And then after 2 weeks, I could not stay in bed any longer. And I remember like when right before Dan went back to work, I think it was like 2 or 3 days. I was like, babe, I need to get up. I need to go make dinner. Let me go make dinner.
You know what this sounds like more to me though? This sounds like, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, audience, and please in the comments. It almost sounds like a tribal passed down through generations.
Yeah, it is. No, 100% it is, because it originates
like lost in translation maybe at this point, but this has been passed down type
our
thing.
ancestors like being like, after you give birth, that's the most crucial time for you and your baby to bond, for you to like heal as a mother,
and your body
also to adjust.
Giving birth is a traumatic experience for the woman's body.
Not to cut you off, but I've seen. And I see his face. I've seen the math. And I've heard people talk about it. Simple Catholic man. It is the pain of a woman giving birth is equivalent to a man being burned alive.
Right. So now,
no, seriously, this is what they said. This is science.
The science updated it or whatever, saying it's the equivalent to having all your bones broken at the same time. So imagine breaking everything in your body. That's what a woman is feeling. That's what your body. That's the equivalent for a woman.
Because your hips are literally rearranging so that it can expand
the birth canal.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even if it's not, I will say, even if it's not the natural birth, even if it's a C-section,
I still have respect for C-section.
It's
still trauma.
Yeah,
it is
respect
very traumatic.
To all the women who
they
out
have to
here
go through so many layers, and then they have to push your intestines.
Much respect to any woman who's ever given birth. Don't care if it's through C-section. I don't care.
God bless you.
God bless you. Hey, the scars you have.
I couldn't do it.
Listen, don't be embarrassed about your scars. Hey, look, those scars are, in my opinion, wounds of a warrior. You have birthed another life into this world. Hey, listen, you are just as much of a mother as everybody else in the world.
Yeah,
that's real. True. That's real. Don't let nobody else tell you anything different. Don't feel anything different.
A C-section, baby.
Yeah.
Hey, look.
I mean, I was too.
See, two of them right here, sitting in front of you. Perfect women right here. Don't let anybody tell you you're any less of anything just because you had a C-section. You are just as important.
So you believe in roles?
Yeah.
As in, you think they play a part into our
marriage?
I
think so. I mean, obviously, I think that every role is different within every marriage, and everyone, like, what works for you and I isn't going to work for Dan and Rita.
Yeah, of course.
Or for the next
Dan
person.
And Rita,
I mean,
Nam
and Rita.
That's crazy.
We swapped.
Yeah. So to me, why are you taking my drink away?
Because Dan and Rita.
Dan and Rita. We'll take it away for that.
You get the small cup now. Walk and
Where's the small cup?
We
get the small cup.
For me, I enjoy being a mother and a wife. To me, personally, I speak for myself only. that includes making dinner, handling the kids, taking care of my husband.
When you say taking care of your husband and handling the kids, what does that mean?
So for taking care of my husband. So and I actually remember that post that I put on Facebook. I take care of.
Say not when you cuddle up to your girl at night because you just want to touch some soft feminine energy, all that shit. Masculine is this: you do the things that need to be done when you don't want to do them, when they're the least, opportune,
the least popular one,
the least popular. It could be raining outside. It could be snowing. Snow is actually a very good point. When I was born in the 90s, 93, I was born in 93, we in Raleigh, North Carolina, we used to get snow, like real talk snow, shut down school for real, almost like New York. When New York still.
From 2001.
Not like now.
Not like now. It's slush now. 1999, I used to watch my mother scooping out snow out the damn can we curse? Out the driveway.
Yeah.
By herself. No salt. She didn't know the tricks. Just straight up just work. Just
cleaning the
windshield wipers.
Because she had to.
Because she had to. Not with the cold water, not with the warm water, but with cold water. Because she went because cold. If you guys don't know, if you do it with warm water, there's a risk of cracking your windshield.
Yeah.
So boom, she throwing the cold water on there, scraping it off by herself, single mom style. It's different.
And that's a masculine energy.
Masculine energy, bro. She learned that from somebody. Somebody told her to do that.
I will say,
I just joined, so I have no idea what's going on. So
blooper, we're getting into it.
Don't get me.
No, I gotta say though, I think that you say that I sold you this dream of being independent. It's not that. It's not that at all. What it is that
give me another drink up in this.
You have, and this is, you guys should feel honored. No,
because
really.
Me and Anna have had to live.
Let's not get into it. I ain't get there yet. Yeah, I was gonna get into it.
We have had to live in our masculine energy for so long with our mothers because our mothers needed that counterpart that we.
And that's fine.
Had to come to that.
Let it grow into the role.
Let me talk after she says.
Go ahead.
We've had to learn how to be in our feminine energy with our spouses.
Fair enough.
So the fact that we feel comfortable enough
it's
to
a privilege.
trust you, that we trust you enough, that we trust you to be able to be like, I don't need to be in my masculine energy because someone's got my back.
You don't need to be because if you're in a marriage or you're in a relationship with another with a man,
simple Catholic man,
what kind of a man would I be? Okay, what kind of a man would I be if it's raining out there? And I got groceries in the car. What kind of a man would I be if I came in the house and said, "Hey, you trying to help out with these? Come on, there's groceries in the car."
Groceries in the car. That's what y'all be doing in the car. Wow.
Hey,
stop it.
Anyway,
you think I'm gonna tell my wife to go out there in the rain and go haul some groceries?
Yeah.
No, yeah, I know exactly, but that's what I'm saying. Like you guys have made it.
But that's
the point. Like you guys have made it to where Rita and I know we trust that you won't do that.
So, and I'll speak for myself, and because simple Catholic man over here, he's
simple.
He has a different ideology, but for me, it took me a second. I say a second, and obviously hyperbole. For those of you who don't know, I'm just exaggerating hyperbole. But I'm saying, like, I've grown up with a woman who did it all, and she, quote unquote, was an independent woman. So now that I'm with a woman who presented herself as much to let me know that if I'm not in a situation, she can handle herself and be competent and make smart decisions. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, awesome. That's exactly what I want as a partner. Someone who, if I'm not around because of my military stuff, I can make sure that I automatically...
She can handle herself.
Ruling out that she's not going to... Even if she made a mistake, it was an educated mistake.
Yeah.
Automatically. But then there's the quote-unquote, what we spoke on the last episode, the privilege being with someone who's depending on you to do some of the little things. It's not always about the big picture, and that's why I get a lot of things wrong. It's about the little things, and like Anna was saying just now, to have the privilege of having someone who's been forced almost into a masculine energy and handling things around the house all the time, changing tires, all that type of stuff, and then a man comes in their lives and they said, "Oh my goodness, thank you. I can finally just relax.
Yeah.
But I
can
say
finally just be in my feminine." That is a privilege to the man to be like
that she can let her guard down.
And to be honest, I have a hard time accepting that. I have a hard time accepting it only because I made the joke all the time, I married an independent woman and all that, but like, I have to not complain about the side quests.
Yeah.
I have a hard time, like, just not complaining about them, but it's the side quests that I have to understand. They're not necessarily always the side quests. They're just me stepping into the masculine role of whatever she may or may not need in that moment.
Right.
And yes, I might be annoyed, and yes, I might not have the best of attitudes. But who would have the best attitude walking into a blizzard trying to, shovel the snow out the damn, can we curse, out of the driveway?
Yeah.
You're not gonna.
No one's gonna be happy. Yeah, like,
bro,
and that's where it comes back to where I was saying, like, for me specifically, like,
I
you know,
be happy,
the roles
but you get enjoyment out of it.
The
Not
roles
enjoyment,
that,
but
like,
you get like.
This is a gratification too.
Exactly. There you go.
I got this.
Yeah.
And I'm learning how to be like,
this is me taking care of my family, or this is me taking care of my wife. Like,
these quote unquote side quests.
I love that.
I have to be like, I have to understand and learn and love the gratification of she's coming to me with this. She's coming to me with this. So I need to not have this attitude. Because if she stops coming to me with this, then that means that she does not trust me enough to bring this to my attention.
Yeah.
And then I'll see her outside one day doing something extremely dangerous for her and be like, "What are you doing? Why are you out here?
You could have just asked me.
You should have just asked me." But I have to build that relationship.
Yeah, and like, again, that's what I said, that to me, like, I do believe in roles, and like the roles that I may not be for everybody. Like, again,
right.
Like taking care of my husband, to me, that means like, how can I, if he's the provider,
right,
how can I make his life easier?
Yeah.
So how can I lessen his load?
So that the things
so he can continue to provide.
Right.